Hello, good morning from Bangladesh. Here I'm presenting our research work on the economics of appropriate mechanization for smallholder grain-oilseed farms in Bangladesh. Worldwide, smallholder farms having less than 2 hectares of land produces around one-third of the world's food just on one-fourth of world's agricultural land. These smallholder farms are mostly concentrated in Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Latin America. Bangladesh, my home country, is well known as smallholder farms, having an average farm size of 0.54 hectare, which is far away from the smallholders less than 2 hectare classification, which confronting on-farm productivity constraints, struggling to answer whether to adopt smaller two-wheel machines like power tiller or reaper and larger four-wheel machines like tractor and combine harvester. These on-farm productivity constraints related to mechanization though is further exacerbated with the extreme labor scarcity. The closer look at the World Bank data reveals that percentage employment in agriculture in Bangladesh has been decreasing dramatically, which is positioned just after Japan compared to the neighboring countries. To guide cost-effective transformation considering these on-farm productivity constraints, this study hypothesized that smaller, low-cost autonomous machines could be the medium to long-term solutions for labor-scarce farming settings of Bangladesh that would encourage the digital innovative technology inclusions in agriculture for smallholder farms like Bangladesh. To achieve the objective, this study modeled small 1 hectare, medium 3 hectare, and larger 4 hectare grain-oilseed farm, as the farms are classified as small, medium, and large farms in Bangladesh. We adopted the hands-free hectare linear programming optimization model, which is originally developed from the Purdue crop livestock linear programming model that was used worldwide in various countries. The first scenario we modeled, we considered the typical mechanization Bangladesh predominantly experienced, which is the where the only Tillage is mechanized, keeping all other operations manual. That is the predominant mechanization the country experienced yet. The second scenario we modeled, which is the known as the evolving mechanization, where tillage and harvesting operations are assumed mechanized, keeping all other operations manual. And this is the evolving mechanization the country trying to scaling up over the last few years. And the third scenario we modeled, where we considered tillage, planting, and harvesting mechanized, keeping all other operations manual labor intensive. This is not yet scaled up in Bangladesh, which is under on-farm demonstration and the country is trying to promote. And the other two scenarios we modeled, these are the proposed scenarios Bangladesh didn't yet experience. The fourth scenarios we modeled is the whole farm conventional mechanization with human drivers, where all operations are operated with machines having drivers working behind for smaller machines. And the fifth scenario we modeled, we tried to assess what would be the economics if we consider low cost automation for Bangladesh, where if the existing whole farm mechanization scenarios were retrofitted with a low cost gadget, which are typically found in Asian market. These existing machines are retrofitted for autonomous on-farm operations, but from field to farmstead farm operations are assumed with manual labor or manual labor intensive. These same mechanization scenarios were also modeled for larger four-wheel machines, what we call considered as larger mechanization here. The low-cost retrofitted experiences were mainly based on the hands-free hectare, autonomous operations demonstrated at the Harvard University, where from tilling to harvesting, all operations are autonomous machine operated without human intervention. The initial findings of such kind of evolutionary mechanization economics indicate that considering the farmer-owned mechanization, we found that for countries like Bangladesh, whole farm mechanization with human drivers, that is conventional whole farm mechanization, are the most profitable farm management alternative as compared to other alternatives. And these conventional whole farm mechanization followed by autonomous machines. So, but the existing scenarios we are adopting and trying to evolve in our countries, with that initiative, our farmers actually losing money. Again, for medium 3 hectare farm, we also found the same farm economics. Interestingly, the small farms showing the different scenarios, but which is customary, that small farms actually unable to bear the financial burden of affording piles of machines for his farm or her farm operations. That is, added machinery cost puts capital financial burden for small farmers, indicating that Bangladesh do need sandwich type mechanization, where farmer-owned mechanization as well as the custom hiring services could be the feasible options for grain oilseed farming. The comparative analysis of the economics of smaller two-wheel machines and larger four-wheel machines indicate that smaller two-wheel machines are more competitive as compared to larger four-wheel machines, which struggles to farm profitably. But don't be frustrated. Bangladesh still have larger four-wheel machines, but these are not only farmer-owned mechanization. These are feasible with custom hiring services. Try to identify what would be the economics if you consider the labor scarcity that this country is experiencing, instead of considering substantial labor availability. The sensitivity scenarios modeled, what would be the economics if you consider 50 labor percentage per month per farm available? With 50 percentage per month per farm, we found that whole farm conventional mechanization struggles than the whole farm autonomous machines. That is, autonomous machines were found more profitable than other mechanization alternatives. Even with other conventional mechanization alternatives from scenario 1 to 4, the farming operations struggle to farm optimally. For larger four-wheel machines, with such kind of a good labor shortage, that is not from productivity, it's totally unprofitable when you consider farmer-owned mechanization. The most discussed topics in Bangladesh, whether such kind of intervention initiative would be promoted with post-factor subsidy interventions or others. We also do sensitivity test with subsidy interventions. We found that subsidy intervention only changes the profit margin for both smaller two-wheel machines and larger four-wheel machines, but unable to change the total farming paradigm in that case. So when we are talking about subsidy, countries like Bangladesh need subsidy. Developing countries like ours need subsidy, but how this subsidy could be devised is an issue here. Instead of thinking of machine-specific subsidy intervention, because we need to best use the public money for producing public goods. Yes, I know that all of you are interested to get the answer whether smallholders like Bangladesh could adopt smaller machines or larger machines. But the problem is that the answer is not binary. In case of Bangladesh, as a fundamental, we consider farmer-owned mechanization initiative. We found that conventional whole farm mechanization with human drivers are the low-hanging fruit for Bangladesh in the short term. To achieve the optimum benefit of mechanization, Bangladesh need to think of field to farmstead transportation as mechanized. In the medium to long term, when consider on-farm productivity constraints related to acute labor shortage, we did sensitivity with increasing wage rate, doubling, tripling, and other wage rate. We found that for medium to long term, these countries need to think of low-cost autonomous machines because we found that low-cost autonomous machines are profitable when we consider them from productivity constraints. When we talk about mechanization transformation, We need to be more optimistic. In that case, it's not a step-by-step changes. We should think it should be a step change. We could think of whole farm mechanization instead of going one by one as a mechanized operation. Because with the existing scenario, 2022-23 data, we found that whole farm mechanization is the low-hanging fruit for Bangladesh, followed by autonomous machines. So the policy and action plan need to be very much optimistic considering the scenarios. It's not only the capital level substitution we are thinking about. Instead, it's all about the reintegrating the rural settings, encouraging youth to agriculture, tackling the question who will farm in the future. So it should be a system change that may bring paradigm shift in the total agri-food system. When we talk about the subsidy interventions, we are not against subsidy for countries like Bangladesh in the current time, but we need to divide the subsidy in a way that would help or facilitate the thriving economy. Subsidy could be devised with encouraging startups, businesses. Subsidy should be devised in a way that may change the total farming paradigm and help the total agri-food systems instead of prioritizing of machine-specific subsidy we are following right now. Finally, I would like to thank my funders, International Growth Center, for funding our study, which is directed by London School of Economics and University of Oxford. And acknowledgement goes to my research team from my lab, Hub for Smallholder Segregated Economics, known as ASET, where we concentrate on economics of agricultural intensification with technology and other systems change. Please feel free to raise question. I'm open to respond to your queries. Thank you.